And welcome to the Rural Reflections Colin Dave podcast, co-hosted by my brother Dave in Carrington, North Dakota, and me, Grant Nelson, here at the studios of Thief River Falls Radio. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Grant.
You know, it's better for two old Viking boys to do this podcast when we got a full head of steam and full of coffee early in the morning. I mean, how does that sound to you?
I'm not quite full of coffee yet because I got coffee ready before I sat down with you. So, yes, it's good to do it in the morning. It's nice to be up in the morning and looking at the sun coming up. And
it's a good feeling. It's one of the first days when I've felt that spring planting is actually a possibility.
Yeah, actually, it's surprising. And last week I was challenged by a customer to come and get his RTK ready for him on his tractor because he was going seeding that day. And I found out that it was up in some real sandy, hilly stuff, and they were going to go seed some wheat. And the main thing they were trying to do was just get everything started. You know, they weren't really going to keep at it very long, but they must have had one little patch they could seed. So, and that's 2 weeks ahead of anybody else. You know, there'll be this week. There's going to be a big flurry of activities so that they can get ready to go. Next week there'll be a little more of that, and then I would guess towards the end of next week, there'll be some activity going on. You know, drying out things, you know, trying to level out some of the mud from last year and all that.
I imagine so. Up around here, people are getting their equipment ready, and I saw an air seeder parked at the edge of a field last week, and I thought it seemed almost sad. It looked so hopeful, like it really wanted to get out there and get to work, but it was just too wet. Now, you had a little bit of rain over the weekend here, haven't you?
Yeah, we had, I think, 11 or 12 hundredths yesterday. Just enough to really wake up the grass. You know?
That's what it takes. It seems like a little bit of rain or a little bit of thunder or something like that, and all of a sudden you got to go pick up sticks and start mowing grass. Now, tell me a little bit about some of these pictures. You know, we share your pictures on trfradio.com because they're just, you know, they're fantastic, or else we put them on our Facebook page, one or the other. This last group of pictures I just thought were some of your very best. And I understand the one picture of the DeSoto car sitting lonely as can be up on a hill, or a low hill, I guess, had a bit of a story behind it. Can you tell us that?
Yeah, I took a picture of it. I thought it was probably an old Chevy when I first looked at it. And then I looked at the pictures of it, and I thought it was something different. So I just happened to ask the guy that I thought owned it, and he gave me a story about it, that it was his college car, and something had happened to it. I can't remember what it was, but it was a very unique car because it had a special kind of a transmission in it and all this, and something happened to it. They couldn't afford to fix it. So they left it at their farm and eventually sold it to someone who took it out, carrying around with it without fixing it, and permanently died then out on this hill out in this area. And they just left the car there for many years. And it happened to be next to some state land that is rented for pasture.
Okay.
And it was over the line just a little ways. So the state had come with a bulldozer or a loader of some sort and pushed it up the hill off of the property line, or back onto this guy's property and off of the state land. And so they were intending to go up there and get it, but then they finally just left it up there as kind of a monument to, I guess, his college years and whatever went on. And so it's just been sitting there, fenced around now, on his land, not on the state land anymore.
I love that. You know, I think sometimes some of those old vehicles, the story is more fun than just driving the vehicle around even, you know?
Yeah, it is. It's fun to hear that.
Now, myself, I've been looking around at tractors again. I'm getting ready to probably do a little trading. And this is our time of the podcast when we talk about tractors. So I thought this week would be the perfect time to talk a little bit about the International 460. Now, I had a 460, I suppose, probably 4 or 5 years ago. And I thought, Dave, that it was one of the smoothest running gas tractors I've ever heard.
I know they idle. They just sit there and purr when they idle, and the same when they're pulling. That was a very, very good engine that they had in those tractors, and it was actually, pretty close to the 6-cylinder engines that were in the trucks and that kind of thing. And they were, notorious for just humming along. It's kind of like when you hear one of these old Craig cars or that has a little 6-cylinder engine in them. They just purr along as they go past you.
Yeah, they do. The other thing I liked about the 460, it comes down to this a lot, it seems like. It's just such a pretty looking tractor.
Yeah, they're good looking tractors. The 60 series was a big change, because they got such a long looking front on them to put the 6-cylinder engine in that they hadn't had previously, and they changed the hood and the styling. They squared it up and that, and controls were moved to more favorable places and so on. Very good tractor, or a very nice tractor like that. Had some problems at first, but as with a lot of things that have some problems when they first come out, they were improved, and then they end up being usually very good after that, And so be talking about a 60-year-old tractor, whatever they are, still running and being used daily, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it says a lot for it. I was taking a look at some of the stats on it. Engine horsepower, 61 horses. Drawbar, 36.44, and that is tested. PTO at 50, and it weighed in. Now imagine this is a bare bones, no ballast or anything like that. Right around 5,000 pounds. So it wasn't a tremendously heavy tractor. I used it myself. I remember thinking to myself, there's no way it's going to pull my no-till drill, because I had a 8 or a 10-foot no-till drill. I can't remember what size it was. Unless it was a haybuster. It must have been a 10-foot. And I'll tell you what, it pulled it without a problem. Of course, we're not going up and down hills or anything like that here in northwest Minnesota, but it pulled it without a problem. So I was impressed with the power it had.
Yeah, they were notoriously good power, which was part of their early problem, was the power that they put to them without upgrading the steel in the final drive part of the tractor.
Was it preceded by the H? Was it a buildup of the H, or did it have any relation to any of those previous tractors?
Yeah, I think if you were to look in anything from the flywheel back, there's a lot of similarities. I guess it would probably be more like a 350.
Okay.
Because the 560 was the 450 upgrade.
Yep.
But M and H were where that design started in 1939. The H is its predecessor, so.
It's kind of funny. It just seems like tractors are a lot like people. We stand on the shoulders of the ones who came before us sometimes. You know that?
Yeah.
Well, you got anything else for us this week, Dave?
Oh, I'm just hoping for a really nice week. Looks like people are starting to move around a little bit. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I don't think they can take it anymore. So I hope the sun comes out and people can move around, start doing stuff. I told you that it was foggy. The sun is starting to burn the fog off around here. You can see it a lot clearer now. So I think it's going to be a real good day today.
Good. Well, we can use that. I can use a nice sunny Sunday, and I hope you find something good for church. I hope you find a good variety. I'm going to go home and do the same thing.
Yeah, we're getting ready. Something's going to be on at 9. So.
Well, we'll talk to you next weekend, Dave, and thank you so much.
All right. See you, Grant.
See you later. Here he is, my brother Dave in Carrington, North Dakota. We're Rural Reflections calling Dave. I'm Grant Nelson here at the studios of Thief River Falls Radio.